hierarchy in our group. There's founders, there's people, just naturally that way. But in a way, it's changing. It's crossing boundaries. It's completely different.
We're all chiefs.
Yeah, and I mean, and of course, you know, I think, you know, and a lot of people who haven't gone through the discipline of being obedient, or have any devotion in their lives, really throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, they just feel that, you know, the leadership has been, the hierarchy has been flattened. You know, but I mean, that whole aspect, I think, led to the cult thing, and now with people being more together
and more responsible for themselves.
Consciousness.
I think that was emphasized and came into mass conscious thinking over the Jim Jones episode, which he was, you know, it was something. It shows there that which we've touched on, that of the strongness of preparing people for an afterlife rather than right here and now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Alicia, go ahead. Just,
I have so much to say about
please, go ahead.
Well, it's great because there's so much charge in that word.
Yeah.
And so it's like, for me, I'm like, let's get in there and feel what that is. And I absolutely agree, Isis, with you. And then it's like, it's culture, it's everything. It's like everything started from some kind of group of like-minded individuals. As far as the leadership thing, you know, I am seen as a leader in the community here, and I was thinking on the way over on the subway, I was thinking about like what makes a community, you know, cultish and all that, and leaders. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, everyone at one moment or another is a leader. It's like a natural, organic hierarchy where when we're talking about one thing, I might be the leader. When we're talking about the website, I am not the person in the lead.
Everybody does
you know?
what they do best.
Yeah, and that's like a pot of dolphins. You take turns, you know? So it's like, and if there's the charisma of one leader that overtakes, and that's where everything gets a bad rap, it's like, where does agenda and personal agenda come in? Because a true leader is the most surrendered person in the room.
Right, but where does it come up if someone's like not fitting into the group? I mean, how, you know, so there might be someone in your community.
Well, I mean, like if someone comes into the center, if someone comes into the center, if I have an agenda of where I think what I think they should do, or how, you know, what they should do in any way, then that's kind of like when my agenda gets too fixed or too intense, it's more like they come in and I'm like, who are you and what are you curious about and what do you want? And then that person can be whoever they want to be in front of me.
Sometimes someone doesn't fit into the group. I mean, who decides and who says, you know, I don't think you belong here?
Well, actually, they end up removing themselves if they don't fit into the vibration.
Exactly.
But I know in the 70s, when we were all just learning and forming, and it was so new, we did ask people to leave that didn't fit in. Only for our growth, because we knew we were moving so fast, and we had to. We had a short amount of time. Something was happening. And even though we knew that we had to move with it, and if somebody was holding us back or really detrimental, they were asked to leave very politely, and were always welcome to come back at another time, or they removed themselves because they did not.
Thank you. That clears up a question for me. Is like, you know, you can tell by the vibration, everyone's in agreement, maybe except for the person who wants to belong, who doesn't fit, that, hey, you know, it's not working here, it's not a fit. So you guys have probably come up against that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And how did what was your
many times over there.
If I don't fit somewhere, I leave.
But you don't always know. It's like you might want to be part of it, but they say, well, you know, what do you say?
Well, there are times that we have had to ask people to leave. I mean, and not to be with us, because you know, we have a goal, and we are out to bring about the world that we can live in. We're surrounded by a world of people that, you know, we don't feel the same as. That's just real reality. So we're building upon the reality that we are. And I don't know why anybody would want to come into our midst anyway that didn't feel the way we did. I mean, who wants to be where you don't like what's going on? I mean, I would do that. I'm not, you know, so
we all have our signature destiny.
So, you know,
also, I think what we're all doing is trying to broaden this perspective, whatever, to the bigger population. I mean, mean, we're trying to reach the. We want. It would be great if the world believed that there was no physical.
Okay.
Yes.
We're looking for people that do want physical immortality, that do want to
want the whole world to have that.
It's
not ready for
not ready to eat physical immortality. So you know, so we're not, you know.
But okay, so okay, we're coming to the end of this segment. We'll just wrap it up, and then maybe we'll do another other programs along these lines, because I think it gets to really be juicy and interesting to have all these people's perspectives. So if you guys were to kind of wrap up what you've heard here and how it adds to what you're doing, how would you say, Ron, that?
Well, I love the diversity.
Yeah.
Because I think what's coming out as an underlying fact is people trying to communicate, get together, and be able to live together, whatever they believe in. And I think that's an essential feature of the human race moving forward, however we do it.
And allowing,
I love it.
to allow the other.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful. You have so many flowers in the field, you wouldn't want God to make one rose.
And they all smell differently, and they all have beautiful. And Alicia, how would you wrap up what you've heard here today?
With the idea that when you truly agree to be present with the people around you, when you agree to stay connected, that it's very difficult to harm them. And then you realize that we're all actually playing on the same team, whether that's with your husband or wife or your family or the people you work with. When you're really connected and you can feel and you're honest, you're on the same team.
Thank you. That's great. And Victoria, any closing?
I'm very excited to be here, and I think, you know, I love hearing what I'm hearing here. It's just so beautiful, and I love, you know, what's happening and being part of this kind of revolution.
Really?
Yeah, because I think everyone here is contributing to a new consciousness in their own way. So how would you really sum up what you've heard here today, Charles?
Well, it's exciting to really be together with a group of people that you can share in this manner, and without anyone taking offense at one another's goal and purpose for being here, and it's very stimulating.
Bernadine?
Well, I'm just enjoying. I'm enjoying every moment here and all the time. And I want to, I do want to see people to be able to come together and really have a feeling for one another.
Yes.
I don't know how long it would take for all of humanity to feel what I do about being physically immortal. I think that can be a while.
Jim, anything? Thank you.
Well, I personally think these guys are all so beautiful that I'd love to see them live forever, because I think that's just my heart feeling. That's right. I think you do get better all the time. I think we learn more about what real living is really about, what it means to really connect, and we're all experiencing that together. And the more we live, the more longer we're alive, the more we have that chance to really interact with each other on a deeper level all the time.
Thank you. Isis, yes, any final word?
We always just said you can't love everyone, but you can be kind. You can allow non-judgment as much as possible.
Thank you all. I do think it's about opening up to love, you know, to know that, hey, everyone you meet actually is actually part of your community, because they're human, and they have the capacity to be with you, and you can love them. You know, we need to build more of these bonds together and cross these bonds, because I see these nucleuses hooking up together and forming a huge network. That's my job.
There you go. That's your mission.
That's my job.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing us together.
Thank you all for being here. Thanks to the studio audience. Thanks Gloria Messer, Paula Gloria, Robin Curry, Alan Steinfeld for New Realities. And any questions about what you heard here, email me, newrealities@earthlink.net, and I'll also put everyone's website up. And see you next time. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
It was very nice.
It's great.
We should do something with these guys also at one taste, as a little communication, because they have a great way of communicating. Yeah, I want to hook all you guys together, you know, and see where we can bring people. Let me see if we have time to do a show. Okay.